And we're back with another episode of On the Record with Tiffany. And I have a wonderful guest, Leonora Walker with Free Texas. And On the Record with Tiffany, again, we have partnered with the African American Network Television. And it's just been wonderful where we get to present perspectives from all over and bring people on who are doing great work, because the facts are we are more alike than we are different. Yeah. And everyone deserves a second chance. And it's how we structure that second chance that really makes a difference in another human being's life. And I believe that our friend today, our guest today, Leonora Walker in Free Texas, she's setting a standard that everyone who is dealing with recidivism will want to learn. I think she's setting the bar and she's setting it high. And I'm looking forward to what this lady's going to bring to the table over the next 5 years. I don't even know what God is going to do and how this is going to look, but I just see all kinds of great stuff happening. Leonora, introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, again, I'm Leonora Walker, the CEO of Free Texas, which stands for Finish Recidivism Through Education, Employment, and Divinity. A very holistic, loving, encouraging way that shows education and resources are available to our formerly incarcerated, which we call scholars. So it's a different mindset that we want to set, because that's what we need more than ever right now in this time, is really looking, like you said, we all live in this earth. We all are here together. And we do need more love and compassion more than ever in this time to really build up our economy, to build up each other as a people. And, with the movement going on with so many different things that are attainable now that weren't at one point, it's definitely in our opportunity to do something different that produces real hope and real change. And that's what Free Texas, we work in the gray. We go in the transition part of it. The transition part. Yeah.
So your scholars, how many scholars did you graduate from your program?
We had 10 that started and we have 9 that graduated from our, we're very happy with that success rate that we had with our scholars. And we actually have 2 of them that are going to be starting college in the spring with their scholarships that they have received through Alamo College. We have 2 of them right now that are continuing with their GED services. Even one of our scholars, their wife got motivated and started doing the GED prep as well. And we have some other scholars that are looking at doing stuff with Project Quest to move on to HVAC, different services where they can get certifications and designations now to help them with employment. And I'm really happy too, because Project Quest was such a blessing. They provided the stipends for our scholars. So our scholars during their 9-week course got paid $15 an hour. And because of our contract with Bexar County, we were able to allow to provide for our scholars cell phones and laptops while they were doing our classroom sessions, and they could take it home and check it out. Some of them still have it because they need it for their education services. But that was such a blessing too, that we would be able to get with the CARES Act that came through to help our scholars with those things. And really nice cell phones, not the government phone, like with a nice little stylo and great look. Metro PCS did a great deal for us because God's timing is perfect. We literally got that funding during close to December and November, where they're having that the black thing where what is that thing called, for I don't know, where you can get all these discounts. So we were just discounts.
Black Friday, where they sell all of the electronics and all kinds of stuff for cheap.
We were on it.
So with Free Texas, you are educating and you're educating people from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. right? So what are those classes like? What are you doing, like fundamentals?
We do some fundamentals, yes, but we also have speakers that come in and speak with the scholars. different employers that will come in and show employment opportunities or even teach about employment. Monday, let's just say a Monday is peer mentoring. That's something that I have a deep passion for. I am a nationally recognized peer support specialist, which I work with mental health and substance abuse, dual diagnoses. So I was able to like literally, and then this being the first cohort, this is something I really get to put my hands in and learn and study from, because we definitely wanted to know what we're doing, what works, what we need to implement in the next cohort that we have. So Mondays, we would have peer mentors, people that have overcome incarceration from different perspectives, from addiction, that are small business owners, that are huge entrepreneurs. We even had like Jermaine Wilson. He was a mayor of Kansas City, but at one time, Jermaine Wilson was also somebody that was informally incarcerated for 9 years, and he's running for commissioner and does many different transition homes. So we had an opportunity to do a Zoom meeting with him and him talk with our scholars. And he's even going to be sending us a book that he's doing. Then we even have for peer mentoring a book called Choices, which is by Dr. Sandra Smith, which is a lady that was formerly incarcerated for close to 20 years that now oversees the reentry peer support specialist for Via Hope. So those are the workbooks that we worked on, and had them also have this exposure to talk with people that look like them, that have been through what they've been through, to help educate them on how they were able to successfully make it through, systematic racism and all different types of things that go on when you come out of incarceration, because we're not treated as citizens. The major fundamental barriers, which is housing, even education, and we know employment. And with when the economy was thriving, we couldn't get jobs. So you can imagine the disparity. Yeah. A lot of our homeless population, that's formerly incarcerated people, that came out and didn't have any resources or way to connect. So we were able to bring those resources. And on Education Day, we take this opportunity to meet with each of the scholars to see where their education levels are. We even did a field trip to Northwest Lakeview College, and they literally came and sat in the college. They did the tour of the college. They spoke to different professors to find out what opportunities there were for schooling and what a college looks like. Many have never even been set foot in a college, to see what that experience is. And then Project Quest came over and talked about different ways to get certifications and designations, and even with the barriers that we have being formerly incarcerated, what are attainable for us to be able to achieve, which we need to know that too. One thing for myself and many others, we start at college and we want to do so many things, but then we find out our background is very limiting on different educational services that actually produce income, can be provided for us. So, that's what we did for our education. It was teaching those different educational levels. And then on Wednesday, we have a pastor, shout out to Pastor Doug. He was incarcerated for 16 years, been out almost 3 years, started a church, and he would come in and teach divinity through the Bible, just giving them a spiritual hope, because a lot of our private prisons and jails in general have faith-based, over 200 faith-based programs, but when people come out, it's very segregated, and a lot of us don't know where to go to receive, those spiritual services, or who is in our neighborhood. So that was a great direction. And then teaching about civics at a city and county level. So we'd have different civic speakers that would come in, as well as we would do our own research and study. And that's one thing that we made sure that the scholars do. Anybody that came in to speak, all the scholars had to research them. And then they also had to attain at least 2 to 3 questions that they would ask, because we need them to learn how to speak and advocate for themselves. And so you have to get in a place where the uncomfortable needs to get comfortable, because you need to be able to be a voice, and you need to be able to, these fine-tuned things that you learned in the streets and the hustle and all these different things you did, when you refine that and you use it in a positive, constructive way, you can really produce change. So that's what we wanted to show. So and then Thursdays, we had a partnership with Stitch Ministries, where they came and did a faith and finance. And I'm really excited because, like, one of our scholars, the stipends that they were getting, the $15 an hour, they saved up those stipends and purchased their first vehicle. And this was a gentleman that had been incarcerated for 10 years, and 8 years of that has been segregate, a separation. So, these are just some of the things that we were able to help our scholars learn about, and then there's more peer mentoring because a lot of us help each other, and then even towards the end, we had scholars that would shine, that wanted to do more, and they would help teach some of the peer mentoring classes. And we always started our day with affirmations, that we had gotten these beautiful affirmation cards, and that would set the atmosphere for learning. Because, and another thing too, I was so excited that Alamo College let me paint the classroom. So it's very beautiful colors in there. We have orange, we have yellow, blue, green, all these, the psychology of colors and how it helps. Mm-hmm. It's a very nice, childlike, friendly, trusting environment. We do bean bags, when we have some of our processing groups and speakers come in. We had Andrea Vocab, she's an amazing poet here in San Antonio, Texas, that came in and donated a workshop with our scholars, because we have 3 of our scholars that are poets, and they got to share their poetry. So much going on. And then there's some days we just went to main event and did bowling. Our youngest scholar, because we have scholars from 18 to 51. We had 7 men and 3 women, a nice diversity too of different ethnicities, primarily Hispanic and Black. But we all, like our 18-year-old scholar, Matthew, had never been bowling. So we went bowling and had this fun. And then I loved it because his mother started coming to the class and wanted to get connected. And now she wants to become a scholar and do an interview with us for the next cohort, because it's generational. What's going on with our formerly incarcerated. They not only incarcerate us, but they incarcerate our children. At a 3rd grade level, you already know they're building more prisons than they do colleges. And even the foster care system is another pipeline to prison, which is a separation of our families. So there's so much that goes into this. And at Free Texas, we just want to be a part of the solution. And we really do believe that family restoration with education, resources, and TED Talks and speakers and opportunities to do field trips are really a great way to inspire and encourage visually in many different avenues, because people have different ways of learning. So we're doing these different ways of learning so somebody can just catch something. And then
I love that you're showing people, you're expanding everybody's horizons, because you're showing them things that they've never seen before, and opportunities that they've never thought were possible.
Yeah.
And that alone will increase a person's self-worth and sense of even just seeing that, hey, this dream that I had that nobody else knows about, to be X, here's somebody that looks like me that's achieving it. And I think I can do this,
Yes, that produces real hope.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need something.
Well, you're producing that. You're giving people hope. That is what Free Texas is doing. Free Texas is literally giving hope to people that have essentially been thrown away by society, because often when somebody comes out of jail, out of prison, there are family members that don't want to talk to you anymore. There are people that you used to love, that loved you, that just
moved on.
Yeah, they, especially when years have passed and they haven't seen you or heard from you, they just assume you're a write-off.
Yes.
And go on about their business.
We truly believe Free Texas is real reentry. This is what we need. I don't want to be, I've been approached in all these different things from different people or agencies or stuff that want to do different things, but I don't want to be the checking the box type of thing, doing another program. You have people that are coming out that have been incarcerated for several years, or just let's just talk about the trauma, okay, that goes on just being incarcerated alone. So there was trauma before that wasn't resolved. There's trauma that you get when you're incarcerated, and now you come out to a COVID world full of trauma, and so all this trauma that you're having to try to reconcile and deal with, and then electronics. I have scholars that don't know how to use a computer. They don't know how to use that. That's another thing too. When you're incarcerated, they don't teach you how to use a computer. They don't even want you using a computer. You're over there, paper and pencils and chalkboards, and then you come out and you got to learn how to do an application on the internet, or if you want to get into a program, you got to do an appointment on top of an appointment and an application, and somebody call you back. And man, I had one of my scholars that was so shocked. He didn't believe it was real. It was actually Andre, the
one that I met.
Yes. Because he had been trying to do a program for 4 months, going on the bus, riding the bus 2 hours here, doing this appointment, doing that appointment, and nobody ever called him back. No, he couldn't even. Every time he tried to connect with somebody, it was you got to connect. It was so many discouraging things. So that's why a big thing for Free Texas, and I fought for 4 months to try to find some stipends because I at least wanted to provide some economics. $15 an hour. So at least they can do their classes, breathe a little bit, contribute to their households, take their kids out for ice cream, whatever it is that they wanted to do, and be able to take these classes and do that. Because it's another thing. We do all these programs, but they don't want to do nothing to help you with the economics. And then they wonder why you reoffend.
How are you supposed to contribute to your household? And there's a certain sense of self-worth that comes with earning grades, with earning money, with being self-sustaining. There's a sense of self-worth that comes with meeting the goals that are set, for a program like this. So coming in from 10 to 3 and studying and learning how to master using an app, using your cell phone to get those appointments, to be involved with this learning process.
Yes.
There's a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, a man feels like a man when he can provide for his family, and a woman feels like a woman when she can feed her children, and those are the things that they strip from us. Before this, when I came out of incarceration, by the way, when I came out, I tried to go get a job at Walmart. They told me, no, you cannot work here at Walmart. You have a background. Well, it was not even 15 minutes that they dismissed me. And then I go, let's talk about this. I go to a staffing agency. And a staffing agency can get me a job at Walmart making $7.25 an hour, working some odd hours that nobody wants to work. I was trying to stay awake. I couldn't even do the job. It was in these weird hours at night that they want me to go. So I'm trying to catch buses, get rides to do this job. And I'm pissed. And I say that because I tried to apply for that job and you wouldn't give it to me, but you'll give it to a staffing agency that makes $10, $4, $5, however much they make off of me, and give me $7.25. How am I supposed to live on $7.25?
Nobody can. No one can live on that.
No, and that's the setup. That's the setup. And then if you go
and you're not getting the education to get past the 725. It would be different if there was some sort of yes, you're making 725, but we're giving you all of these educational services. You will be able to move forward. You're gonna get to, but there's nothing like that.
No.
Free Texas is the first thing I've heard of where you're educating people and helping them to get their own financial footing together to actually go out and become who they should have become prior to everything that went wrong in their lives. They can still go back and or move forward with the life that they're proud of.
Exactly.
And build a life that they're proud of. You're not just stuck with the scraps of life.
Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. The scraps are slaves. That's slave scraps right there. Giving you whatever's the leftovers are. And if that, and the disparity of it all that I've witnessed being on probation and going through the incarceration system, these are the things I deal with. I have been over 7 years clean. I have been out of incarceration for an addiction for so many years, and yet I still get discriminated when I go look for an apartment. And I was even vice president of the National Society for Alamo Colleges. But you know what? I still get discriminated when I want to go apply for different jobs. I had a job that they didn't know that I was incarcerated, but they were trying to do phone calls. And this is during my transition where I wanted to do voting rights. And they were like, make these phone calls. And there's people around me making 2 calls and barely getting anybody. I was getting 15 people. Like I was doing all these different things. And then they found out I was incarcerated at one point. But you know what? Because that's another thing. People that come out of incarceration, we got to work 10 times harder. We got to be prepared for those awkward conversations where they ask, what did you do? And, all these different things. And I was so blessed that they made a position for me because I was such a great worker. But there's so many people that don't know these skill sets or don't have these skill sets because they haven't attained education or mentorship or any of these different things, or they don't have the vocabulary to express what they're feeling because they've been living a street life for so long, and that's a different vocabulary and lifestyle. There's no ethic, you don't learn these different things. So it's very hard, and it's all a setup to set us back.
I love the fact that Freed Texas has created something that really gives the building blocks of life back to a population that deserves a second chance. Yeah, a second chance in life, and you're giving them that. Thank you for being here with us today. And what would you say in parting to our guests? Tell them where they can find you and how they can help you.
Yes, you can reach me through email, which is CEO@freed, FREED, Texas.org. You can go to our Facebook page at Freed Texas and check us out there, like the page. You can donate. And, we are a 501c3. So if you do decide to donate, that donation is tax deductible. And we really do need financial assistance. It has been such a hardship getting the financial funding that we need to be able to do what we want to do. But we know because of people like you that are listening right now, wherever you're at, that you making that donation is actually putting some action to love and giving us an opportunity to come together and help our economy, boost our economy, because it costs $60+ to incarcerate somebody. And that's very cheap, a low number I'm talking about daily. But that same money could be utilized to build up our economy, have education, and make our scholars become citizens that are paying taxes and that are helping and supporting our community. That's what we want to do, and that's what your donation will do. We're asking $20,000, but I'm going to put it out there in the atmosphere that if we had $300,000, we could really do this program fully the way that we want to do it and multiply.
Have 180 scholars. That would be amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Leonora. Thank you for being here and for creating Freed Texas. And you've been listening to 9:30 a.m. The Answer, On the Record with Tiffany, which you can hear us every Thursday night from 8 to 9. Tell your friends about it. And if you don't catch us on the radio, then go to www.tan.tv. That's Tan with 2 A's. And you can see us, and you can see our wonderful talks. We are more alike than we are different. And Leonora is an example of seeing a problem and creating a solution. And that's what we're about with On the Record with Tiffany. We're about highlighting the good that's there, highlighting who we are, because Who we are is amazing. So remember that. Take that with you this week. Remember that who you are is enough, and who you are, there you have great things inside you. So look inside and see what you can do to make the world a better place.